Namaste. As always, the Divine Mother teaches us the law of life and the way of living. So, there is a beautiful prayer. All prayers are beautiful. I mean, this adjective at some point becomes meaningless. We can only say beautiful prayer, more beautiful prayer, most beautiful prayer, super beautiful prayer. But who are we to really understand? Because each prayer is unique. Now, the prayer we are going to read today is prayer of March 4th. No, prayer of March 27th. She is on board the ship. 25th. No, March. So it is the prayer of March 7th. Yes. It's the prayer of March 7th, 1914, when she is on board the ship Kaga Marou. It's a Japanese company. So even when she came from Shillong, she came on the same ship. It's the name of the company. So she is on board that ship to travel. So where is she traveling? She is coming to Pondicherry. Now, there is an event that takes place, which is referred here. That event is described elsewhere. So when she was traveling in the ship, suddenly the ship went through a turbulence and storm. So it was very threatening. And everybody, oh, what may happen, what may happen. So the mother went inside her cabin. She shut herself in. She was lying on a cot and then she went out. And then she saw that there were small little vital entities which were doing mischief. Plenty such, beings are there. Mother would call them vital entities. Another, thought, spiritual mystic will say something else. But there are entities behind this universe, whether we like it or not. Again, it's not a question of a belief or non-belief. I may believe that the fire will not burn me, but it will burn me anyways. So there are entities, and our belief or non-belief doesn't deter them from doing what they do. A lot of accidents are caused because of them. That's why you'll see there are places which are marked for accidents. And people say accident zone. Now you think, why? Because there are entities there. Formations are there. So she goes and sees there are little vital entities which are trying to, destabilize the ship with the idea of, for them it's fun. Bad fun. For them it is equivalent to sometime when human beings, very cruel impulses, hit a dog and, that is for them, toppling a ship is like that, same. Except that there is not one dog, but number of them. So they love to do it. When people die, they throw the vital, they feed on it and go away. So they try to disturb the ship and it's as if it's going to topple. So she goes and sees them. So what does she do? That's what we are going to read. She just tells them, be calm. She could crush them. She has that power. But she replies to this violence by calm. There is a very beautiful movie I had seen where this aspect of Buddha was shown. Buddha is, regarded as calm. And in the end of that whole, I'm forgetting the name of the film. It's of course, Japanese film. At the end, when the man returns, there is a lot of judo karate going on and he goes, ultimately the hero has been kicked and he goes up. But when he's returning, the villain on the, what is the name? Do you remember? Kung Fu? Hustle. Kung Fu Hustle. When he's returning from there, it's a villain is very happy. Ultimately, see, I have beaten him. A lot of story. Then he returns with Buddha's hand. So he is wondering, what is this posture? I have never known it. He is confused that this is not a striking posture at all. He returns with that. And as he comes, this man completely is devastated. He goes into a hole and there is the imprint of Buddha's hand on the sand. This power of calm and peace is tremendous. This should not be confused with outer professing of non-violence, which our great people have said. Non-violence. There is a difference between Buddha's non-violence and Gandhian non-violence. Gandhian non-violence is full of anger inside. But outwardly you are non-violent. That is not the way. Especially if you are a Kshatriya, you have to fight. But Buddha's non-violence is stay inwardly immobile. And there are so many stories of Mother and Sri Aurobindo and then because of your inner calm and peace, that force which is coming to destroy you turns back upon itself. There is a wall of stillness, and it hits and goes back. And when it boomerangs, you know what happens with the boomerang? When it boomerangs onto you, you can be devastated. So this is that posture where you are so full of calm and peace that it has a ripple effect upon everybody, and all the creatures become calm, peaceful, and they lose that tendency. That's how Sri Aurobindo describes in one of his aphorisms that the tiger does not attack a yogi. Real stories, we know Alexandra David Neal, we know Sri Aurobindo and the mother's life, we know even the white tiger. Tiger still may not, but king of serpents, not attacking her. And we know that in Raman ashram, it's known that, even ferocious creatures, it was a mountain. They lose their instinct for, because that atmosphere is so powerful. So this prayer is, as always, very revelatory. On board the Kaga Marou, March 7th, 1914. March 6, it's Geneva. She has sailed further. Thou wast with us yesterday as the most marvelous protection. So divine has protected. She's telling I am so grateful. Though she's the one who has gone down and done all this. But this is called divine humility. Thou hast permitted thy law to triumph even up to the most outer manifestation. Because inwardly it's possible to change things, but outwardly, how do you appease that which is violent, angry, full of hatred, jealousy? How do you appease that? In the most outward form. Inwardly, one is angry, one thing. Outwardly, one is shouting, screaming, throwing up a thing on you. So, outer manifestation. So, how did the divine law triumph? Now comes the process. Violence was answered by calm. Violence was answered by calm. Brutality by the power of gentleness. These are what today we call as soft powers. And it is recognized world over that ultimately soft powers are the one which are, in the long run, they are what makes even a successful entrepreneur. I mean, this is what, if you have a hard power, gone are the days when you push things through. Soft powers, compassion, kindness, gentleness. And they have a tremendous, impact upon the world. And sometimes these impacts can come back in strange ways. And you can see it in the world. For instance, our Tata buying the Air India. It was his. But, it was taken away that time, 78 I think. And now it comes back. Why? Because the man was like that, thinking good of people and, how they can be. So when we have that attitude, when we have that right attitude, it has a power to change circumstances. Much later the mother would say, if you can remain inside, immobile and calm, even the arm of the assassin will drop. That is the story of Prahlad. But you have to remain immobile. It's not like you are immobile and inwardly, what if he starts doing something, I'll find that way of running. But mother has said, remain calm. So that doesn't work. Inwardly immobile. Outwardly you may do something. You may still actually run. But you are inwardly calm. With that clarity that no harm is going to come to me. Brutality by the power of gentleness. And where there could have taken place an irreparable misfortune, thy power was glorified. It could have been irreparable. People would have died. And shipwreck is the worst way because, the water is so cold. Even if you are an expert swimmer, few seconds, you will get cramps. Because water is so cold. I mean, some rare experts can probably, do it. That's why they have the lifeboats. But if you drown, you drown. It's like you can't just save yourself. Thy power was glorified. O Lord, with what fervent gratitude I saluted thy presence, because all becomes calm. Subsequently, there will be a phase of turbulence, and when there is turbulence, we must remain calm. What we do is we start vibrating in the same tone. Mother says that when people get angry, why do you respond with anger? So when we somebody is angry, we respond with anger, then we lose that one opportunity for our progress. Second, opportunity for the other person's progress. And third, we complicate things endlessly. And fourth, worst, we close our doors to progress by justifying. Naturally, if the person is angry, I will respond like that. So we have lost a wonderful opportunity to progress. How to do it? Mother's very human play towards the future. I recommend people to read it. How in the face of something which can be very hurtful, she shows us the way. Because that's life. It grows, evolves, things change. Today somebody is your companion, tomorrow the person may part. That's how life is. But instead of, all that bitterness, anger, hatred, malice, revenge, whatever, it is like, okay, you release, because nothing really belongs to you. And you release, you let it move. So it requires a tremendous inner development to do that. It was for me a sure sign that we would have the force to act. So she has taken it that yes, this works. Once it happens, that force develops within us. So all life is an opportunity to develop. If once you have faced turbulence and anger and all this with calm and forgiveness and gentleness, then it empowers us. People don't realize. They think you are losing authority. No, you are actually gaining authority over yourself, which is what is important. To live, to think, to live in thy name and for thee, because she has invoked the presence and this is the result. Not only in intention and will, but effectively in an integral realization. So it involves the outermost manifestation, and so it is so wonderful. So this is what she is revealing to us, that the divine presence, calm, can change gentleness, but not outward gentleness we have, but harboring things inside. It's not about that. To inwardly remain calm, immobile, be gentle, be kind. This is a Daivi quality, and if we foster it within us, then it has a tremendous impact and power even upon outer things. That doesn't mean outer things will now take the course of my wish and fancy. Yoga is not about my wish and fancies and desires. But every time we meet with an obstacle from outside, whether it be elemental energies as in this situation, or from human beings, attacks from human beings, if you remain calm, eventually you will see that the path will open and ascension toward the victory. This morning, my prayer rises to thee, because that night has passed, night of turbulence. So what does she pray in the morning? Her heart is filled with gratitude. This morning, my prayer rises to thee, always with the same aspiration, to live thy love. She is not asking, oh, there are such wicked people, forces in the world. Give me the strength to bulldoze over them. No. She says, live thy love. This is love. Those beings who could have toppled because they are bound by their law. So she speaks about love. To radiate thy love with such potency and effectiveness that all may feel fortified, regenerated, and illumined by our contact. That is the path. The path should be such that as we grow in consciousness, whoever comes in contact with us should feel fortified, strengthened, their angers appeased, quietened. This should be the effect of a yogi. And then she asks, to have power to heal life. How beautiful this one little thing is. Not power to heal diseases. Diseases are mental conceptions of human beings. They are the end result of the disorder in life. So she is saying, heal life. What is the suffering of life? Life suffers. Aches, pains, all through. Diseases, first there will be symptoms thrown, then doctors pick up, crystallize it as disease. She is not asking right now to heal diseases, but to heal life. And if we can heal life, then we take care of the rest, the real inner disorder. To have power to heal life. For instance, there are people who are bitter inside. Then what happens? After some time when you are bitter, then you have those gallbladder, liver problems. Huh? So why? Because bitterness. So then you go to a doctor, then you have a magic healer who will heal your liver problem. No, it's about the bitterness that one is carrying inside. To have the power to heal life. To relieve suffering. Again, not pain, suffering. Pain, of course, but suffering is what we create, add to it. There is pain because there is a contact of something which we don't like. But suffering is our own generated reaction to whatever experience we are having. Regenerate, to generate peace and calm confidence. To efface anguish and replace it by the sense of the one true happiness. So this is what we receive when we go to ashram, and those who have the inner contact, when we come in contact with the mother, when we pray to her, aspire to her, we see that slowly she removes all these things, effaces the anguish and replaces it with calm confidence and true happiness. The happiness that is founded in thee and never fades. The whole world is in search of happiness. So, but where to find happiness? We are trying to find it here, there. But the true happiness which comes through contact with the divine presence. And that happiness nobody can snatch away. O Lord, O marvelous friend, O all-powerful Master, how she addresses Master, Friend, Lord, penetrate all our being, transfigure it till thou alone livest in us and through us. So even the smallest event or an outer event becomes the trigger for an inner discovery. And not only discovery, aspiration and the final realization. Because she realizes, well, it can happen. There are people who have experienced miracle of grace in life. They forget it. Or they will keep recounting, oh, you know what, I had this grace. All right, then this grace, what does it come to show us? That grace can do things which we cannot even imagine. So why not find that grace and become its instrument and channel and eventually one with it? So she is showing us that way, that the intervention was seen, effective, even in the outermost details. So now she doesn't want to halt. She says, oh, this is possible. She has gone far beyond, but I am just as a human little, oh, this is possible? Okay, so wonderful. So this is what we should seek. And not only seek it with all the ardent aspiration, along with that, whatever is interconnected. Calm, to generate peace, to generate true happiness, to radiate that love, to become that love, and eventually to become one with the Master of our destiny, the Lord, the Friend, so that He alone lives through us. So this is the beautiful prayer. I'll just read it and then we stop. On board the Kaga Marou, March 7th, 1914. Thou wast with us yesterday as the most marvellous protection. Thou hast permitted thy law to triumph even up to the most outer manifestation. To triumph even, violence was answered by calm, brutality by the power of gentleness. And where there could have taken place an irreparable misfortune, thy power was glorified. Nothing is, fixed in a way that it just cannot change. The divine intervention can completely change things. Irreparable misfortune. That's how she is describing it. Thy power was glorified, O Lord. With what fervent gratitude I saluted thy presence. So when this happens, our heart should be full of gratitude. How often we forget or just explain it away, once again fill our minds with doubts. It was for me a sure sign that we would have the force to act, to think, to live in thy name and for thee. Not only in intention and will, but effectively in an integral realization. This is the sign she takes. So whenever in our life, when we get immediately an answer to the call, it is self a sign that the doors have been opened to us. That's how she describes it. This morning my prayer rises to Thee, always with the same aspiration to live Thy love, to radiate Thy love, with such potency and effectiveness that all may feel fortified, regenerated, and illumined by our contact. To have power to heal life, to relieve suffering, to generate peace and calm confidence, to efface anguish and replace it by the sense of the one true happiness, the happiness that is founded in Thee and never fades. O Lord, O marvellous Friend, O all-powerful Master, penetrate all our being, transfigure it till Thou alone livest in us and through us. So the entire direction has been given. And a reminder that next time, first of all, we should never have. If we live in that consciousness, there are many things which will just be averted without a knowledge. But if ever in life we face such things, adversity, adverse circumstances, even dangerous, imminent catastrophe, then the right response is inner calm, turning to the divine with faith and trust, and then the intervention will come. She says, when an accident took place in car accident, so she described it graphically. What happens when people see a vehicle coming from front? There is a risk of accident. What is the first response? What is it? We are projected outward and we are hit. The right response is coming. Ma. She says, it'll touch you and go away. Maybe there may be a small little scratch, big thing gone away in small. But if you project yourself outside, then you become very vulnerable, because then you are at the play of all the forces. So in every accident, this is a twofold process. One is something which is coming from outside. Second is our inner state. So this is the description of a accident which could have led to a great disaster. And by answering it with calm, of course, she has gone down in violence with peace. Even violence in material nature can be answered with peace, with calm, rather than with doubt, despair, anger, complaint, grudging. Instead of all that, just to invoke the divine peace and love, and to become more and more the instrument of her love. Namaste.